Welcome to Talking Early Years, a showcase training podcast with Ellen Roberts
and Gemma Carr.
Hello and welcome to today's Talking Early Years podcast. In this episode, we're going to be discussing FGM and honour-based violence. So let's delve in. Hi Gemma, how are you?
Hi Ellen, very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Looking forward to this safeguarding Sure. It's quite a niche aspect of safeguarding that a lot of people haven't heard of before. So quite an interesting topic, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So FGM is acronym for Female Genital Mutilation, which refers to all procedures involving partial or total removal of the female external genitalia or other injury to the female genital organs for non-medical purposes. So it is most often carried out on young girls between infancy and the age of 15. So that is the definition of FGM.
Absolutely correct. So FGM is often linked to cultural or social beliefs about purity, marriage, or control about female sexuality. There are no health benefits. It is not for non-medical reasons, as you say, but it does cause serious physical and mental harm. So it does cause a medical issue. It is important to note that it is not a religious-based practice.
No.
It is social or cultural. So we see it commonly practiced in parts of Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and in the UK specifically, FGM tends to affect communities with family origins in those practicing countries rather than a religious aspect. So girls are typically taken abroad for FGM. Honour-based violence, though, or HBV, as it's sometimes abbreviated to, can affect both men and women. So obviously FGM is only for girls or women. HBV affects both, though it is most commonly impacting women, and it involves multiple members of the family. And it's things around shame and inflicting sometimes violence or coercion, threats and control, honour killings, even for shame inflicted on a family for choosing their own partner or refusing forced marriage. Very important to note there as well, terminology in terms of safeguarding, that forced marriage and arranged marriage are two very different things. In the UK, forced marriage is illegal. Arranged marriages are absolutely legal as long as there is no coercion going on in that marriage. So I know in certain religious and cultural practices, arranged marriages are still a thing, whether it's a religious based thing or whether it could be a class thing as well. In certain aristocracy circles, arranged marriages are still a thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be religious. There's all sorts of different aspects, and arranged marriages absolutely fine in the UK. That coercion and forced marriage, absolutely not. So just to make a differentiation there between the two. So with both of these practices, so FGM and honour-based violence, they are both very serious forms of abuse and human rights violations. They are illegal in the UK and many other countries around the world. And in the UK, it is illegal, including arranging it to happen overseas. So even if it's not happening here, because it is being arranged here and it's with a UK citizen, it is still illegal. So a reminder that cultural, religious, or traditions never ever justify abuse. So in terms of legislation around FGM and honour-based violence, so FGM, we have the Female Genital Mutilation Act of 2003, and it imposes up to 14 years of imprisonment for people to perform FGM in the UK, assist, encourage or arrange FGM, or to take a girl abroad for FGM. It also falls under our Serious Crimes Act of 2015, and we have a mandatory reporting duty as regulated professionals, so teachers, healthcare workers, those in early years. We are absolutely duty bound to report any known cases of FGM in under 18s to the police. We also have the FGM protection orders, which give lifelong anonymity for victims of FGM. And the offence of failing to protect a girl from FGM is also, under this act, is illegal. So for parents and guardians, if you are not protecting a female in your family from FGM or being taken abroad for FGM, that is also illegal under this act.
Okay.
And then turning to honour-based violence, it is slightly looser in terms of legislation. There isn't one particular legislative act like the FGM where there is a particular act, but it does fall into our Forced Marriage and Civil Protection Act of 2007, which introduces forced marriage protection orders. They also fall into Antisocial Behaviour, Crime and Policing Act of 2014, which makes it illegal for somebody to force someone to marry another person. And of course, into our Domestic Abuse Act 2021, which recognises honour-based violence within the wider definition of domestic abuse. So what is the impact of FGM and honour-based violence around the globe then, Gemma?
So over 90% of women and girls aged 15 to 49 have undergone some form of genital mutilation in Guinea or Somalia.
Wow.
So in those countries, they have had 90% of that age.
Very common. Wow.
Yeah. So again, thinking about it in the UK, it's not commonly seen as in our culture or in our country. However, being aware of these other countries where it is very prevalent. So over 230 million girls and women worldwide have undergone female genital mutilation. Again, that is a vast number. That is huge.
Wow.
And Africa counts for the largest share of this total with over 144 million. Asia with 80 million and a further 6 million in the Middle East. So another 1 to 2 million are affected in the small practicing communities. So these are the countries that we need to be aware of, and any families within our setting that are from these countries and potentially would have these backgrounds or, like you say, those
family links. Wow, that really puts it into perspective, considering the UK population is just shy of about 70 million. So 230 million, so 3 times the population of the UK worldwide.
Of just women.
Of just women. Yeah. That is significant, isn't it? That is huge. Absolutely huge. Yeah. And of course, FGM, we mentioned earlier, it is a non-medical, for non-medical reasons, it is obviously a medical procedure, but it has massive medical impacts and things like severe pain, shock, bleeding, infections like tetanus, HIV, hepatitis B and C. It can cause massive blood loss and infections that can lead to organ damage and even death in some cases, tragically. But
that's the immediate.
Absolutely.
That's the immediate.
Immediate for that girl undergoing it. Absolutely. But later in life, as well as adults, there is a massive knock-on effect with things like difficulties with urination and incontinence, vaginal, pelvic or urinary infections, menstrual problems, kidney damage, possible failure, cysts and abscesses, pain when having sex, infertility. The list goes on and on and on, not to mention things like emotional and mental health problems. Yeah. So there is severe psychological damage for FGM and honour-based violence, as well as the physical harm that both of those things pose as well. Absolutely. So in a setting, what are we looking out for?
So sort of conversations or like I say, sort of thinking about things that children might be saying, like we're doing with everything safeguarding, but often it could be a relative or someone known as a cutter visiting from abroad. The family could be making plans to go on holiday during the summer or have requested extended leave from school or nursery and kind of having an extended period of time off. The child's talking about a forthcoming special celebration. Again, not talking about birthdays here, but often
birthday.
they cover it almost as a celebration, a joyous experience, a get together for the family, and then the girl will be taken off, and that's where everything changes. And that's where it would happen. So the child or woman may have difficulty walking or sitting. Of course, having a look at during nappy changes, if anything's changed, anything's different, anything looks sort of fresh cuts, scars, anything like that. Or a female relative, i.e. a mother or a sister, has had FGM. Now, this is not something that a parent will actively disclose to you. However, as I say, just being conscious of these extra elements that could come into play, or things that the child is talking about.
Absolutely. And as I said earlier, most prevalent between infancy and 15. So very much staying vigilant and making sure that we are looking out for those signs and indicators of, whilst it is a very niche aspect of safeguarding, it is a very important aspect. So in terms of support, so if you suspect FGM or honour-based violence, first of all, the police, if you believe that a child is in danger, you must dial 999. Absolutely. First thing you do. Don't go to your DSL, don't go to Mashal Lado, go straight to the police. Let them deal with it. If it's an emergency, 999. If you suspect things or want to learn more about it, your Mash and Ladder are a really useful resource, and especially, so I attend things like the Hampshire Safeguarding Children Partnership, do webinars and workshops on things like FGM. They're a really useful resource. But also the NHS website is a great resource for finding out information about these and what indicators we're looking for. And on our Showcase Safeguarding webpage, we have a handout about FGM as well on there. So do check that out. Where else can we go for support and resources?
Yes, so also UNICEF are currently running a campaign to stop FGM. So UNICEF have got a big campaign, and there's some information on there, some first-hand experiences talking through things as well. And also Forward, which is Foundation for Women's Health Research and Development. So there is an awful lot on there about FGM and honour-based violence, and thinking about, again, first-hand experiences, what this can look like, or sort of the build up to this. There is some talks on there to what this could look like, or what things people could be saying.
Interesting. Very interesting. As we say with safeguarding as well, these topics are extremely emotional and can be very triggering for individuals as well. So do make sure you protect yourself whilst you're learning about these kind of things. Take time to absorb the information and take some time out to digest it. And if you need any support, your DSL is always there, as are we at Showcase Training.
So thank you so much for tuning in today. As always, safeguarding is a big topic, and if you have any concerns, please reach out to your settings designated safeguarding lead, or to Showcase Training safeguarding lead, or directly to Mashal Lado.
Don't forget to like, share and follow our podcast to stay updated. And as always, let's keep the conversation about early years going. Until next time, take care and keep making a difference.